Cool.
Recording.
So we're good to, what's that?
Recording started.
Recording started?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right. Well, I am pumped. And thank you guys very much for being on this call today. And I really appreciate it and appreciate commitment to just continuous learning. I mean, I think that's one of the signs that we all can appreciate of people that are growing, is that like continuous learning is how you progress. Like if you screw up and you fail, you keep coming back, keep trying again. That's how you progress. And it's a privilege to be here with you guys. Jesse, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on the call. But my goal today is to not have a talk about goal setting and make it like a boring, write out your goals, make a plan, write it down. Those things are very important, but it's really to get behind the mindset of why we take action or we don't take action on the goals that we have. And a lot of this is going to be Tony Robbins-esque stuff, because this is what totally has changed the course of my life, the way I view every situation, the way that I live my life with Janice, the way everything has changed from Tony Robbins, which, by the way, if you guys aren't coming to that event at the end of September, that's silly. That's really, really silly. You guys should be there, because that is like literally the things that I'm going to talk about tonight. Imagine that customized by people that know, that like design this for you. So definitely make that a priority in your life to get there. We're going to take some massive action today, and we're going to come away with a toolbox full of resources when negative thoughts or overwhelm or laziness come into our mind, which happens for all of us. It happens for me being 3 years into this. It happens for Jesse being 5-6 years into this. It happens for everybody. Those things still come up. And this isn't something, like I said, this isn't something I came up with. This is stuff I've learned through personal growth with Tony Robbins, through the Ultimate Edge program, through UPW, and just it's really transitioned my life to living in a beautiful state no matter what happens. And it's going to affect not just your business, but your quality of life. So if you're dissatisfied in any way in your business, in your life, whatever it is, get excited right now, because dissatisfaction is a gem. It's an amazing thing. And we're going to go through a lot of nuggets today. And don't focus on writing all of them down, but focus on the 2 or 3 things that really, really hit you, and write those down and take action on them immediately. Is that cool? Yes? Cool? Thumbs up. So I posted on the page, come prepared with a goal in mind. Can you guys go ahead and put in the chat box real quick? What is your big, and Jesse, not for you because you're driving, but what is your big goal for the year? What is it that you're going to achieve this year, no matter what? What is the absolutely must achieve? Put it in the chat box, make it scary. Let's see it. What is it? We're not going to continue until we get some good ones in there. Anybody? 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 Diamond? 2-star? 5-star elite? Hell yeah. Anyone else? Anyone else? Maybe it's a weight loss goal. Maybe it's a relationship goal. What's the big thing that you want to change in your life that you really want to accomplish? It doesn't even need to be coaching. Don't want to go back to corporate? Ooh, I love that. I get juiced up talking about that. That's freaking awesome. So right there, this is the only boring part about goal setting that I'll talk about. You wrote it down, right? Take away the most basic fundamental of goal setting. If it's up here, it is literally just a wish, and you're praying for it to come true. It's not going to happen. But if you read it every single day, like those goals right there, every single day, then it can turn into a reality, because instead of just wishing for it, your mind is consciously thinking about it because you're programming it. So why don't we achieve goals? What is, like, when people fail to achieve what they want, why is that? Like, we have these big, amazing dreams, but why don't we do it? And trust me, guys, I fell to this many times up until just recently. Like, it basically controlled what I'm about to tell you guys, controlled my entire Beachbody career so far. So why do people fail to achieve what they want? It's the biggest illusion in life that we have, that I had, that everyone has, is that we're missing the resources to make something happen. Some fear in our mind has convinced us, like in relation to coaching, but we can really apply this to all categories of life, that we don't know enough people, or that inviting leads to pain, or that we don't know how, or we don't have the time, or don't have the money. But guys, that is not the problem. It has nothing to do with the money or the time. The problem is the lack of resourcefulness. And I'll prove that to you right now. So let's use the example of the minimum standard that Jess and I hold each other to every single month. Every single month, Jesse and I both, and I'm not sure if this is your standard as well. If it is, awesome. But we have a minimum standard of Success Club 10, no matter what, in our business. I've hit it. I think there was 1 month since June of 2014 that I haven't hit it. And it's a minimum standard for me. But we always hear, right? We rationalize these excuses in our minds, like I don't have time for more conversations, or I don't know enough people, or whatever it is. Our network's running dry, or I'm afraid of what they're going to say. And I'll let that illusion slide for 1 second. But now I want you to picture the person that you love the most in your life. Just picture them real quick. Maybe it's the baby you just had. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a pet if you're not with someone. Maybe it's a best friend, a family member, whatever it is. Picture the person that you love the most, or people that you love the most in your life. Think about what makes you feel really happy when you're around them. Just picture that for a second. Really think about it. What makes you love them so much? Think about the experiences you've had and the times you've had together. So imagine just for 1 second that you found out that they had a terminal illness and you had limited time with them, but you can't leave your job because you need to pay for their medical treatments, right? You need to pay for that. You need to make sure there's food on the table for your kids, whatever it is. But you also know that you have this incredible opportunity that can grow into something that changes your financial future and allows you to earn the income to stay home and be there with them for the remainder of their life. Think about that for a second. Now, all of a sudden, if that were a possibility and you knew this could happen, you see it with full-time coaches, right? You know it can happen. Knowing that, how resourceful would you really be? Like, how hard would Success Club 10 really be if it guaranteed that you were going to be able to stay home with your loved one in the remainder of their life? It would be a joke to hit Success Club 10. It'd be super freaking easy. So why do people not do it? Because they don't have purpose behind it. Right? If you have a reason for doing it, a purpose behind it, then all of a sudden that thing that was oh so hard to do before is super simple. Guys, when your purpose is deep enough, taking action just becomes second nature. You just do. You just do and you find a way. I think the book is called, Flip the Switch by PJ McClure. It's a great book about mindset. And he gives this example of a compass, and you're in the middle of the ocean with your compass. Your compass is your purpose, your guide, your internal guide for what goes on up here, what comes out of here, what goes on in here. That's your compass, okay? And you're in the middle of the ocean, and you're sailing to a certain destination, but all of a sudden a storm comes, which it always will. A storm, shit's gonna happen. Ashley, are your kids still around? Sorry. Shit's gonna happen, okay? And when a storm comes, and there are 50-foot waves in every single direction, and you can't navigate, but you can't see the stars because the clouds are covering them, you can still steer your boat. You know where you're going because you set out with that compass, with that internal purpose, where everyone else that hasn't defined that is either crashing against the rocks or struggling in a panic, trying to wonder where the hell they are, right? But you set out with that purpose. So if you have that reason, how hard is Success Club really? Is it really that hard? So I just proved to you right there that the biggest illusion in life is that we believe we're missing the resources to make something happen. That's bullshit. The reason is our lack of resourcefulness. And what I've learned is how we get resources is human emotion. That's the driver of resources. Think about it. What's the way that you're facing the problem that you have in your life? Are you frustrated? Are you focused on why it's not happening? Are you bored or are you overwhelmed? Are you burnt out? Or are you determined? Are you grateful? Are you excited? Are you passionate? Are you living in a beautiful state? Are you excited? Right? Get out of your own head, because when you're emotional about something coming true, that emotion is going to drive your resourcefulness and lead to better decisions. And what I've learned through personal growth, consistent personal growth, especially with Tony, is that every outcome is driven by your choices, your decisions. Every action you take has a reason. Every action is fathered or mothered by a decision in your mind. So what I learned is that if you ever wonder why your life is the way it is, look at the choices you've made over the last 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. It will give you a pretty good indicator of why you are where you are. It's going to tell you exactly why you're there. So I look at my life and some of the decisions that I've made, right? A decision to stay at a job that I've hated, or a decision to spend money poorly and wind up broke, or a decision to break up with Janice back in college, right? That left me feeling pretty crappy. It was a decision that led to an outcome. And think about it like this: rationalizing having conversations as actual invites on a coaching scale, right? That is something that has led to not being in financial abundance yet, right? We all do that from time to time. But on the other side, getting back together with Janice and proposing to her and being together for 6 years since then and planning a wedding, that's led me to happiness, right? Becoming a Beachbody coach and being part of this freaking amazing team has led me to fulfillment and chasing a passion and gratitude in my life, right? Decision to invest time and money into personal growth has led me to overcome those things that I was just telling you guys about. And I'm not perfect. I'm still figuring this shit out. But it's helped me become confident and loving and passionate and excited about life through personal growth. This stuff every single day. Those are decisions that we made to do or not do. So your decisions are indicators of where you are in life. And sure, you could say, this happened to me, right? And yeah, I'm sure there's shit that happened in your life that maybe wasn't fair, or, your boss makes you work a lot of hours, or, someone reacted poorly in a situation, or maybe even the unfortunate circumstance of a death being in the family, right? And that would be very unfortunate. And if that has happened, I'm very sorry. But what I'm trying to say here is that everybody has great times and everyone's got shit. That's what I learned at UPW. Everyone's got shit. And the thing about it is that we can either look at it as a great reason why we can't be successful, or we can use it to drive us, right? In those times that you had the crap, what was the way that you responded to it? Did you decide to let it control you? Or did you decide to be determined and do something about it instead? What I learned from Tony was that there's 3 decisions that you can make in any situation to change the outcome of whatever you want. And the first is to decide what you're going to focus on. Like if you focus on the fear of something not happening, that fear becomes very, very real, right? If you focus on what you don't have, you're going to have a lot less. If you focus on why things are not, they will never be. And I learned that the hard way, guys. I learned it the hard way because for 3 years I did that. But if you focus on what you want, being grateful, your brain can't tell the difference between a vivid desire and reality, and you'll find a way to be resourceful. Like a lot of people focus on what they can't control, like if someone says no, right? Or if someone quits. We spend so much time focusing on that, but what if we focused on what we could control, like the number of invites we send, or our thoughts, or the meaning we give to different choices, our happiness? Like what if we focus on that? Whatever you focus on, you're going to feel, regardless of if it's true or not. And I learned that a couple weekends ago. Focus equals reality to the individual, regardless of if it's reality in actuality. Focus equals reality to the individual, regardless of if it's reality in actuality. The second decision is, what does this mean? Like, what does this mean to me? And we'll cover more about that in a minute. But in general, is the situation really painful, or is it awesome? Right? Is there a reason you're going through this? Are you guided in some way? Whatever meaning you would choose to associate with any experience becomes reality. It becomes what you believe. And we'll talk more on that in a minute. And the third decision is, what am I going to do? Right? If you're disappointed or angry and you're focusing on those things and you're frustrated and you're upset and you're lazy, are you going to do something completely different? Are you going to have a different type and style of conversation with someone than if you're grateful and happy and excited? Like, how would the outcome change? If you're worried or overwhelmed, will you act differently than if you're crazy, passionate, and determined? Right? You're going to act so much differently. So the meaning that you choose to associate, keyword choose, to every situation determines the action that you take. Does that make sense? You're giving it meaning. We'll talk more on that in a little bit. And how you break this is you practice and you immerse yourself in situations where you can grow and change, like that event in September. Get there, right? Guys, get to that event. It's not going to be easy to change what's going on up here. It's not easy, but you can condition your mind to change how you feel in any situation. Every situation and circumstance can be an amazing thing in your life with practice. And we'll relate this to Beachbody in a minute. So all of a sudden, not knowing enough people, right? Not knowing enough prospects can mean there's an opportunity to meet more people. You're grateful you're going through that because it's challenging you and helping you grow. Are you going to look at it like, well, shit, I can't be successful at this? Or are you going to look at it like, okay, I'm going to be great at this. I have an opportunity to go and expand my network and get out of my comfort zone. Which way are you looking at it? All of a sudden, being completely broke can mean that you have the opportunity to learn the mindset of financially free and happily wealthy individuals and put yourself around them, right? If you want what other people have, do what successful people recommend to do. Get around those people, right? Like if Jessie is your coach and you want what she has, find a way to be around her. right? Like that's a great way to look at it. Be around those people. See it as an opportunity. How are you seeing it? Are you seeing it as poor me, I don't have money? Or are you seeing it as, okay, challenge, let's do this, let's find a way, right? All of a sudden being at a job that you really, really dread every day can mean that you're helping your company succeed, or that you have the opportunity to be noticed as a great employee, or it can mean that it might even teach you what not to do with your team as a leader, right? It can mean all those things. Something that Tony coaching has helped me do. You're gonna hear me talk about Tony a lot because I freaking love that guy. Investing in one of his elite coaches, right, has taught me to do is change what things mean to me. And so an example in my personal life is my mother. I used to blame my mom so much for what happened in my life. I have this vivid memory of walking in the door every single day, turning to the right, and she's, you look down the wood floor, and there she is on her computer playing her Bejeweled game and smoking a cigarette and, just cussing at me and just telling me to go upstairs. I don't need the opinion of a punk kid, right? And that was every day, my entire life growing up. And I just had that vision of like, I'm not enough in my life. My mom doesn't really love me. My entire life I felt that way. And then fast forward to college, where there was a lot of money that my grandmother saved up and was taken so she could pay the mortgage. And by no means am I saying that college education is like a requirement of a parent, but what I am saying is that that left an impact. It left a dent, right? And then I think about just all these situations with my mom. And I used to blame her for the situation I was in. I had an outlet. I had a reason why I was at where I was at. And I've used it for such a long time. I used to blame her for the example of what not to do, or what a marriage is like, right? Marriage equals pain. I used to think that about my mom because I see my mom and dad fight about money all the time. So what my coach helped me do was change what it meant to me, right? The meaning I associate with every situation. If I'm looking at the situation with my mom and how she raised me, and all the crap that I felt growing up about not being enough, it led to this crazy drive within me to give my future kids the childhood that I never got to have. Without my mom, that wouldn't be there. So I'm grateful for her, right? I look at the situation with the marriage that they had and how they got divorced, and I think about how much better of a fiance I am to her because of the relationship that they had and the example that I was taught. So I'm grateful for my mom, right? And then I look at the money situation, the way to feel about money, right? And it changed. It brought this inner drive to me to want to grow and change and contribute and love people to the point where I have abundance in my life, right? But that was because of the situation I was in with my mom. So all of a sudden, instead of blaming myself and victimizing myself because of my mom, I just changed the meaning. All I did was change it to mean that because of my mom, I'm successful. Because of my mom, I have this drive. Because of my mom, I have a different view on money. Because of my mom, I have a different relationship with Janice. And that changed my entire relationship with my mom. Now we talk every couple days, and we have a great relationship. So with the meaning you choose to associate with every situation determines the outcome, right? It determines what happens, right? So how do you condition that in your mind? What I've learned is that there's two things that I do every single morning. I have an exercise that I do called priming. It's just tonyrobbins.com/momentum. At the bottom of the page, there's an audio thing that I listen to every morning. So I have a list of things that basically focus on what I'm grateful for in my life. And the second thing is what I want in my life. And as I walk my dog or as I sit in front of my computer, whatever it is, I cycle through those things and I go through that exercise and I focus on what I want instead of what I don't want. And that action alone can change your entire life. I can focus on how I want abundance instead of how I don't want to be broke. Positive, negative. All right? It seems like the same outcome, but it's not. It's a totally different outcome. And that action alone can change your entire life. Think about it. If you wake up and your spouse is rushed to work and they didn't give you a kiss goodbye and your dog shits on the carpet and you bang your toe on the nightstand and all this stuff happens and your boss makes you stay late and you don't get to give your kids a goodnight kiss, right? How would your day be? It'd be a pretty bad day, right? It wouldn't be that good of a day. But would your entire day change if instead you focused on, you know what, wow, I'm grateful I have a job. I'm grateful that I have the ability to even earn an income and provide for my kids. when most of this world is living on $2 a day. I'm grateful to be married or engaged to an amazing person and have this dog that makes me laugh even though they're a pain in the ass all the time, right? It makes me smile. And like, think about that. How would your day be? Even if all that stuff still happened, your boss made you stay late, you had you saw the dog poop on the carpet, you banged your toe in the nightstand, your spouse rushed out the door, you didn't get to give your kids a kiss goodbye or kiss goodnight. Isn't your day still awesome if you're grateful? Like, how would happiness change? And when you get done with that, focusing on what you actually want in life, focus on what you want to happen, the goals you have, and be grateful for them coming true. That's what that priming exercise does. So think about it. If I focus on how I don't have enough people to invite or don't know to invite, or if I'm tired today, or if I have enough time in my day, how would my day be different if instead I focused on, you know what, I am freaking pumped today because I'm pushing hard for this goal at 5-star and to help my team succeed and to work hard in their passion and create freedom of time for my family. You know what, I'm grateful to walk across stage as an elite coach, right? How does your day change if you focus on what you want? Are you worried? Are you focused on what you don't have, or are you pumped up? Guys, what I've learned is that your view of life determines your future. The way you see every situation determines your future. Is it opportunity or is it crap, right? Every day, condition your mind to focus on being grateful and focus on what you want. And all that anxiety, that overwhelm, that depression, that fear, you're going to slowly start not to notice it as much, and you're going to become excited every single day. Guys, stress. Think about the word stress. If you're stressed out, it's just a code word for fear. That's literally what stress is. Stress comes from associating the meaning that something's more important than it really is, right? Tony Robbins talks about how most people major in minor things. That's stress. Focusing on things that seem to be more important than they really are. I promise you guys, if you can detach your happiness from the outcome of any situation and make them separate things, you're going to live in a beautiful state no matter what. If you make a decision in your mind right now that no matter what happens, I'm going to be happy, even if you overdraft your bank account, even if you're struggling with your business. But if you decide to be happy either way, just think about what it's going to do to A, motivate you to change that situation, and B, when you are changing that situation, think about how it's going to affect the conversations you're having. Think about how it's going to change the opportunities that come into your life, right? Like, a lot of the times we're just blinded by things in our lives, opportunities that are all around us because we're too busy bitching about the things that are wrong, right? If we train our mind like we train our bicep and you condition yourself to be your best, the quality of your life is directly proportional to the quality of your emotions on a daily basis. And if you choose to live in that beautiful state all the time, you can be happy no matter what, because in any moment in time, you can be upset because what's wrong is always available to you. What's wrong is always going to be there, but so is what's right, right? Think about that. Push against those problems instead of having them control you, right? Everyone has problems. Everyone's got crap. I learned that at UPW. Everyone's got stuff, right, that's going on in their life. The only people that don't have problems are dead. They're in cemeteries, right? They're resting. They don't have things to worry about. If you don't have problems, you don't have a life. That's the truth. Problems are the resistance that you push against to sculpt your character. It's that simple. So take this and make the primary emotions in life the ones you actually want, because you control it. And you're probably wondering, how does this relate to goal setting? We'll talk about that in a minute. But you control the outcome here. And when you view your life as amazing and being happy no matter what happens and extraordinary, it doesn't just affect you guys, it affects everyone around you. And people want to give it back to you. All of a sudden, people message you about a challenge group. Those people that you wanted to be part of your group for so long see that change in you. But it starts up here and it starts in here. That's where it changes. It's not a matter of them saying no. It's a matter of your own mindset. So if we're going to take action on that, like, think about the goal that you have that you mentioned in the chat box. I want to pause for a second and write in, Jesse, not you because you're driving, write in on a sheet of paper, whatever, 3 actions that you have been avoiding that you know you absolutely must do to achieve that goal. Write that down right now. We'll do 30 seconds. And that can be something as simple as rationalizing a conversation for an actual invite, right? That can be something like not inviting the business opportunity. You didn't invite to the business opportunity. What are 3 things that are very specifically will help you achieve, or will be the catalyst to you achieving that goal? So write that down now. We'll go like 30 seconds. I would play some Justin Timberlake, but I think it would distract you guys. I'm just going to pretend I'm jamming out right now. Once I see heads look up, I'll know you guys are done. We got a second or third one now. Even if it's one or two, you can still do this exercise later on with all of your action steps. So we know right there, we wrote down the 3 action steps that we need. And we're going to cut off all ties. We're going to decide to do it. And it's not an I know I need to do. Guys, think about this. This is something that's kind of interesting. I had a call with my coach today, my Tony Robbins coach today. People like us, we're givers, right? We want people to be happy. We want people to love us. We want to make an impact on the world. And our biggest enemy is rejection. We hate it. We hate rejection so much with a burning passion. And it kills us every single time that we get it, right? But what I kind of learned here with this action step that he gave me is that we're people. That's us, right? And we hate rejection. So that's the thing that we have to pursue, the rejection. And if you face it, and like, think about it, whatever you resist persists, right? So if you're avoiding rejection, that's what's going to be in your mind as a fear more often and more frequently. So if you bite that bullet and you just feel the fear and do it anyways and make the number one thing you go after the enemy of what makes you happy, you're going to become numb to that rejection. And then all of a sudden, all those things are going to come true, right? So if we're going to decide to do this, decide to cut off all ties, not I know I need to do, but decide with no backup plan that we're going to make this happen. And that's where I'm going to show you guys how to do this right now, because this next is a big piece. It's about pain and pleasure. And going through this exercise and actually really diving in and writing this down can make or break the action that you take and give yourself an honest look at how silly some of our decisions are. I did this exercise today. I had 7 people I wanted to invite to the coaching opportunity today. And I found myself procrastinating. I found myself down on the couch. I found myself answering all my other messages. I found myself posting on my team page. And I was like, dude, you got a friggin' invite. How can you lead with integrity and have your words match your actions if you're not doing the actual action? How is your team going to believe in you if you're not willing to do what you're telling them to do? How is that possible? And I went through this exercise that I'm about to teach you that can literally make you take action in any single second. So we know our big goal, and we need to achieve that. That is our must this year. And we know the 3 action steps that we absolutely must take to get there. You wrote those down. They're the way, the road to get to our dreams, but there's that mental roadblock, right? We know what we need to do, but we end up on the couch. We know how important inviting on a daily basis is, inviting to coaching, inviting to challenge groups on a daily basis is, but we avoid it. Even though it's the most important, we avoid it. Right? We know that we have to find time for this stuff, personal growth, getting to seminars, going to that business mastery event in September. We know we have to invest time and money to that if we want to grow, because our income is a direct reflection of our growth. We know that, but we rationalize excuses and we perceive it as not important sometimes, right? We know that doing our workout and drinking Shakeology is a business decision, but sometimes we rationalize it as something that we don't really need to do and we slack there too. Why is that? It has to do with pain and pleasure. That's what it has to do with. As humans, all of our decisions are driven by our thoughts and our need to either avoid pain at all costs or gain pleasure. And how we associate pain and pleasure to each situation makes a huge impact here. So let's talk procrastination. Why do we procrastinate? Well, we procrastinate very simply because we think that taking action on something will be more painful and we'll experience less pain by doing nothing. That's it. Human beings do so much to avoid pain. Our brains are literally wired to survive, to fight us to avoid pain. So if there's ever a decision about an action, we're always going to choose the lesser of the 2 pains. So how do you get through this is self-awareness, being aware of what you're actually deciding to do. We talked about those 3 decisions. That last one, the action you need to take, that's what this is going to help you with. So like we talked about, our reality is based on what we focus on. So if you focus on the pleasure you're going to get long-term from inviting, instead of the short-term pain, you're going to do it. If you focus on the long-term pain about how you're going to be stuck in the same spot in life, or the short-term pleasure of watching Game of Thrones, you're going to invite, right? You can literally link not taking action is more painful. So you're using pain and pleasure instead of having them control you. So we won't do this with each of your 3 actions right now because of time, but there's a 5-step process that I learned from Tony that you're going to be amazed at what you write. So number 1, is what are the 3 actions that you need to take? Identify them, and you already did that. right? You already did that. What are the 3 actions you need to take? Or what are the actions you need to take? So let's say, for example, one of my actions is that I know that I need to invite 2 people to the coaching opportunity every single day. Awesome. We'll use that as an example. Question number 2, what is the current pain that you associate with taking action on it? Right? Because there's some reason why you're not doing it. Maybe it's afraid of being rejected, like we just talked about. Maybe it's self-doubt that you can be successful at this. Maybe you feel that the people that you invite won't love you if you do. Maybe you're going to feel like they're going to judge you or make fun of you. Maybe you'd rather have people come to you. Maybe you feel entitled. What's the pain that you associate with taking action on it? Write every answer down that you can think of. The third thing, what's the current pleasure that you're associating with not following through? You're actually getting something from not doing the actions to get to those big goals, right? You're actually getting something from it. That might mean more time with your challengers. That might mean more time to hang out on social media. That might mean more time with your husband or wife. That might mean more TV time. Whatever it is, you're getting something from not doing it. So write down all the things that you're actually getting. And number 4, this is where you're going to have the real eye-opener. And you literally have to write this out, because if it's in your head, I promise you this does not work. Okay, if it's floating around your head, it won't work. What will it cost me 2 years from now emotionally if I don't take action every day starting right now? What will it cost me 2 years from now emotionally if I don't start taking action every day, or start taking action right now every day? Whatever I said. That's the question. So that might mean I'll never achieve that goal I type in the chat box. I'll find myself at events feeling like I wished I was up there on stage. I'll stay in debt so much longer. I'll feel like a failure. I'll feel like my parents did. I'll set the same example for my kids. I won't give my future kids the stress-free lifestyle that I crave for them, right? I'll always feel stressed or overwhelmed, or like I'm playing catch-up. Janice is going to have to stay at her job longer. I won't be fulfilling my purpose. It's pretty powerful, right? Think about it. What's really more painful to you, taking action on a dream or ending up in the same spot in life? Right? What's really more painful? And let's add a kicker to that. Number 5, what will I gain emotionally 2 years from now if I decide to take action every single day starting right now? What will I gain emotionally 2 years from now if I start taking action every single day starting right now? A life of complete and total freedom, maybe, right? Pay off 100% of your debt, be a leader within the community, right? Maybe you're engaged, you get to have your dream wedding, right? Maybe to influence even more lives. You'll grow into an incredible leader. You'll leave a stamp on this world, right? You'll leave a legacy. You'll be on that path to help your team achieve the same thing. You'll be on a path to retire your parents, maybe, whatever it is. Think about the gravity of that. What's really, really more painful, right? Are you scared of what someone might say, or staying in the same spot in life? What's really more painful? What's really more pleasurable? A little bit of TV time, or complete and total choice, right? You get good at this by practicing it. Repetition is the mother of skill. So you're in 100% control of this. But just knowing this and avoiding it will never work. Guys, you will never escape your way to fulfillment and passion. You will never escape your way to fulfillment and passion. So think about this. That big goal you type in that chat box, right, is literally a couple of mental decisions away from fulfillment. That is it. If you get to the point where you absolutely must change, not a should, right? Tony talks about how people should all over themselves, right? We all get what we have to have. Go back to that example from the beginning about the terminal illness. If you must create the time to spend with them, all backup plans go out the window. You just do. And if you're unreasonable about it and not settling for what someone else says, not doing what most people say, guys, if you agree with most people, you're in trouble. Let's be honest. Be ridiculous. Be the one that stands out. My grandpa always used to say, be the one that stands out from the crowd, or yours is the obligation to make yourself stand out from the crowd. If you do that and you be ridiculous about it and unapologetic about it and break free from a culture that tells you to be less than you can really be, like, people will try to limit you, but it's all in your head. Guys, I can guarantee you, if any successful coach listened to the people in the beginning about their opinion of Beachbody, they wouldn't be living that life that they're living right now. Don't apologize for being different. What we focus on consistently, we experience in life, right? So if you have big dreams of leaving your job this year, you can have that. You just have to condition your mind to focus on practicing associating more pain and not doing it than to doing it. If you get out of that life where you're not really that unhappy, but you're not really that happy, but you're not unhappy enough to do anything about it yet, get out of that. Make it a must. Because Beachbody is a vehicle. That's all it is, to get to our purpose. And I want to give you something that I learned over the last couple months that's made a significant difference in my life. Not just Beachbody, my entire life. Whatever you want to feel, give it. That's it. Whatever you want to feel, give it. Most people want to feel loved. Most people want to feel important. I do, right? Everyone does. Just imagine how big of an impact it would make if you gave that to other people as your first priority. Think about it with your inviting, right? If you deeply tried to make someone feel loved and important and cherished when you invite them, how great will they feel? Even if they decide not to move forward with this. Like, it'll still be a positive experience, right? So instead of like, hey, I'm running a challenge group, I need 3 people to join me, right? Why not like, you know what? Hey, Jesse, I was thinking about you today, and I haven't talked to you in a while, and I remember all those times we used to have and chatting, and you're just such a cool person. And, you know, how's Gracie? How's Rue doing? How's Troy doing? Like, what's been going on with them? What are you doing for work these days? I'd love to hear what's new with you. I can imagine you've been working really hard lately. How have you been? What's new? Give what you want to feel, and you're going to feel what you gave. So if you say, hey, I'm running a challenge group and I need 3 people, and they avoid you or they don't respond to your message, how do you feel? Feel pretty crappy, right? Feel pretty you don't feel very authentic, right? You kind of feel like they were just a pawn and you were using them because you were, right? You feel kind of insignificant. You don't feel connected with them. But what if you go the other way? I can guarantee you their response will make you feel just as great. This business is about authentic relationships. Give that if you want to receive it. So there's your secret. Give what you want to feel. You know what to do. You know the vital behaviors. Everyone rings them in your ear every single day, right? You know to invite. You know to be proof the products work. You know to constantly grow yourself. You know to recognize people for their hard work. So instead of asking what you need to do because you already know, ask what the result you want is. Right? Focusing on what you need to do is just going to make you overwhelmed. But if you focus on what you want and what you have the privilege to do and you're grateful to be able to do, you're going to feel energized and excited because you're driving for something greater. You got to be honest with yourself, guys, because honesty is freedom. Nothing is going to get better until you admit to yourself that something is off. And then just adjust your beliefs. That's it. Belief is literally just a feeling of absolute certainty about what something means. And when you feel certain, you make it happen. Think back to the example in the beginning. And I'll close with the power of controlling your emotions at any given time. And I learned this from Tony. And thinking beyond goals, thinking bigger than Beachbody or about rank or success club, thinking about your life. Our lives are determined by the emotions that we feel most often. So even if you don't like that emotion, it's where you live, right? Like if you leave your house, regardless of if it's messy or not, you're going to come back. If you set a thermostat, if it gets to be 90 degrees outside, it's going to come back. Beating this is not about denying negative emotions. Those are very real, but it's about using your negative emotion to create positive change. Understand something, guys. How you feel in any moment in time is the result you've given, or is the meaning you've given to an experience. For example, if a man opens the door for a woman and she's really, really happy, it has nothing to do with him opening the door. It has to do with what she interprets that to mean, what she associates him opening the door to mean. Because if he opens the door and she's pissed off about it, thinking, I can get it myself, I don't need you, he still opened the door. The event never changed. The life circumstance, the storm, the waves never changed. She just changed what the event meant to her. That's it. So whatever you're feeling at any time is never based on the experience, but your interpretation of the experience. Is it a growth opportunity or is it a crappy experience? Pick one, because you can choose. What's wrong is always available, correct? But so is what's right. So if something's a negative emotion, don't deny it, welcome it and learn from it and then change it. So here's an example of what I mean. I want you guys to close your eyes for a second, and everyone do it. Close your eyes. Just trust me on this. If you're driving, Jesse's not driving anymore. Good. But close your eyes. And imagine that goal that you put in the chat box. Or if you didn't put in the chat box, imagine that goal. I want you to put yourself in a state of really hoping it comes true. Right? What do you feel like when you hope for it? Like what could happen? Like what does it feel like when you hope for it? And keep your eyes closed. Change your state a little bit and imagine that goal. And now put yourself in this state of complete and total expectation that is happening right now, today. It's happening. I'm changing my family's future. I'm retiring my spouse. I'm leaving that job. I'm going to be home with my kids. It is happening right frickin' now. You guys can open your eyes, but what does that feel like? Like, what's the difference, right? Hoping is passive. You focus on both possibilities, that it could happen and it might not. But expecting, on the other hand, is intent, and it focuses on one possibility, right? So when you look at those two states you were in, you were able to hope that it came true. You were able to expect it came true. Both of them you were able to do, and both had a different emotion attached to it, right? Yes. So you can do this with being angry, being sad, being frustrated. You can do this with anything. That literally just proves to you that you're in control of your emotions at any second. Nothing changed from the content of what happened, what I said, the goal, right? I just told you to expect it to happen instead of hope for it. Just the change in language. My point is that you're completely in control of how you feel. And that beautiful state we talked about, you can live that at any given time. Anytime you want to. You can literally snap your fingers and say, I'm going to change my emotions, because you recognize that you're in control, right? Every negative emotion that you feel has a very positive purpose. So when you initially feel it, it's giving you a signal. That's what it's doing. It's telling you that something has to change. Every emotion is a message, right? Don't make the emotion wrong. Use it. Use it and change it, right? Use it, learn from it, then change it. When you avoid it, it just is going to intensify. Whatever you resist persists, right? It's going to intensify. So when you recognize it and you feel it and you respect it and you appreciate it, you're learning something. You see it as an opportunity for growth. You're grateful on it. You're grateful for it. You're focused on what this is teaching you, not focused on how crappy it is, right? So like being overwhelmed, it's not bad to be overwhelmed. I just believe it's a choice, right? It just means that you need to reevaluate what's most important to you. It just means that you're expecting perfection in an imperfect world. And if you get curious, really, really curious, and ask yourself, what does this really mean? What is this telling me? Like if your spouse is quiet, I'm almost done, guys. If your spouse is quiet, does it really mean that they don't love you, right? Does it really mean they're pissed off at you? Or are they just caught up in something? That maybe they have a bad day at work and they need more attention from you, right? There are endless meanings that could be with any situation, everything, with your kids, with your spouse, with everything. There are endless meanings. But if you actually take the time and just put on the brakes, what does this actually mean? Ask yourself those questions. Then you are in complete control to the response to it, right? Or in control of your response to the event. So that changes the outcome, right? That changes how you make them feel. That changes your entire day. So assess it and take action on it, because what you think it really means is going to change the entire outcome. And this goes way beyond goal setting. It goes beyond into why we do what we do. Right? Beachbody is not everything. It's a vehicle. That's all it is. Just a vehicle in your life to meet specific needs. And we all have the same ones, right? It's not everything. It's not your life. It's just part of it. And sure, some things you're going to screw up along the way, but God's delays are not God's denials unless you give up. That's just the truth. You don't control the events. You don't control if someone says no. You don't control if there's a return order. You don't control if a coach quits, if it rains, if someone says something, if there's that storm we talked about, if your boss gives you more work and makes you stay late. You don't control that. But you do control what it means to you. The meaning is yours, and you can own that. So decide what you really want your life to be about. What are you really going after here? The purpose, your mission. For me, I'll share mine, and I'll show you how an achievement or a goal or something you can accomplish is not your purpose. Financial freedom is not your purpose. 15-star is not your purpose. Retiring your spouse or leaving your job is not your purpose. Those are achievements you can achieve on the path to fulfilling your why, your purpose. For me, like my purpose in my life, just to give you an example, is to be the happiest, most genuine, passionate, loving person consistently living in this beautiful state. Just deeply emotionally influencing other people just to be happy, right? And to love and to give, and through improving their unlimited quality of life and putting themselves in situations to grow and challenge themselves and discovering new environments and finding deep connection in their relationships and being a bridge to becoming strong and courageous and powerful and living every single day full of passion. Guys, that's not something that I can achieve. That's not a goal that I can achieve while I'm alive. That's something that people will look back after I'm dead and say I was all about. So I really hope this was helpful. I know you probably came into this call thinking we're going to reverse engineer how to get Success Club 10, but that's not important at all, because the results you get come from the actions that you take. The actions you take come from the meaning that you choose to associate with events. The activities that produce results are known to you. You know what it is. And if you don't know them, they're on the Team Rock Hard Bodies coach training website. They're in the training academy. The only thing that matters is what goes on in between your ears. That's it. And if you do that every single day, instead of shrinking your dreams to the size of your current business or income, you can build your business to the size of your dreams. And if you've mastered that, you master your mindset, you've mastered goal setting. So that's it. That's all I got. I don't know if you guys have questions, but that's how Tony has changed my life. And I want to encourage all of you to get to that event in September. So Jesse, I don't know if you want to close it out or anything, but yeah.
I made you the host, so I think that you might. I'll see if I can end the recording. But this was awesome. There's so many light bulbs. I feel like I'm like the queen of the aha moments, even 5 years later. And something that I encourage you guys to look at, I was talking to Brad about this yesterday, and it goes perfectly with what he shared, is when you look at different situations, and for us, we're inviting people to our challenge groups, we're in conversations with people, we hear them say no, or we hear all of these different excuses, right? The more intentional we could be at sharing and putting out there what we want and who we want to work with, the more we're going to receive back that feedback, right? So what I realized was what I was putting, I don't know why I have these on because it's not plugged into the computer. So what I was putting out there is like, I'm trying to be too broad. I just want to help anybody. Like, I want to help people become the best version of themselves. Yes, I focus on women and moms, but like, I want to help people be their best. And oftentimes in my posts, I'm not clear and specific in who I'm looking for and why, right? So then I get everybody and their brother coming to me wanting for help, wanting guidance, wanting motivation, right? These people suck the life out of me at times because they don't have anything that I have to like get everything out of them, right? They don't come to me with a spunk or motivation to want to change. I'm trying to give them motivation to change, right? So if I could be more intentional of what I post and be more specific with who I'm looking for, then I'm talking to people just like myself, right? So think about that. And that really helps with the process of building the relationship. So, I tell people all the time, I have no problem doing cold invites. Let me tell you more about that. I'm friend requesting people daily. I send people messages of who accept my friend request. So these people have never not received a message from me, right? At some point in time, they've heard from me, whether they choose to read it or not. Okay, when I'm looking for somebody to join me in a challenge group to help other moms become the best version of themselves, guess who I'm inviting? Every freaking mom on my Facebook page that I know. Whether I've been in conversation with them or not, I put myself in the invite and what I'm struggling with, and I'm looking for people just like that. Right? So they know I'm struggling, and then I can get into the conversations of those people that respond back to me or not respond back to me, right? So when people respond back to me, yeah, I'd love more information. Awesome. Then I start building the relationship. Then I start asking questions. But guess what, you guys? I still come to a point where people are like all in, and then they don't purchase the package, right? Do you guys go through this? Like, they don't close the deal. I don't care about the freaking sale. I want to figure out what is the missing link. What is holding these women back from getting in the best shape of their freaking life, for changing their life? Because I know it's not about just the fitness and nutrition. Freaking my mindset is so on the choo-choo train moving forward. I want to get people on the same train as me. This is a bigger picture besides fitness and nutrition, you guys. You know that. You're already here. I'm not preaching to the choir here. What is the missing link? Use that as your driving source to figure out how you could be more intentional in your posts, how you can ask permission to these people. Do I have permission to ask you some questions so I can better help find a solution to your problem? And when they tell me yes, I flat out will tell them. So tell me really what the deal is, because I know it's not time and I know it's not money. What is holding you back from this? Call it out. Put it out there. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is in message with you and they're responding back to you and they're sharing with you why they want to lose weight, how this is going to make them feel, why now? Don't tell me it's time and don't tell me it's money. That's bullshit. Right? Be okay with calling them out. You aren't looking for everybody to jump on your train. You are looking for people that are just like you, that need what you have. Be more specific and more intentional for the people you are looking for. That is something that has truly helped me. And we always change, right? So think about when you make up a call to action post and it flops, right? We all do that. So it flops, or you're getting people that are naysayers and negative Nancy's, or you're getting the cost objection because you didn't realize in your post that you didn't put anything that this costs money, right? If you're getting a lot of cost objection, put in your freaking post that this is not free. I'm not looking for people that are looking for a handout. Nothing in life is. Be more intentional, but show people your truth. Show people how this is working for you, why you're doing this. You're not selling a product on your social media. You are selling you. And be authentic. Don't overthink the process. So when we start overthinking, that's when we start doubting ourselves. Like he said, fear. Why are you fear? Why are you stressed? Because you're in fear of something, right? What can you do to shift that mindset? And for me, that was like a huge piece of finding the solution of what is holding these people back. How can I be more specific and more intentional? And freaking just, I don't have a problem with live video. I'll get on live video and spout off. And guess what? Do you want to know? I enjoy live video, but I've had like 3 or 4 private messages this week with people telling me how much my videos speak truth of who I am, and they don't even freaking know me. Listen to what people are saying. Get on video more. Get out of your own way, whether you're comfortable or not, and start talking about issues you struggle with and what you're doing about it. Because there is everybody out there that is waiting for that struggle with the same things. Put your pride aside and take action on sharing you. And when you do that, you are going to find the people that are going to jump on your train. And you're going to have fun with it. You have to have fun each and every day in this business, or you're not going to go anywhere. And I think Brad nailed it on the head multiple times in this business. The other thing I want to share too is right at the beginning. In this business, when I first started, I specifically remember telling my coach, I'm not in this for the money. I'm in this to help as many people I can improve their health and fitness. But then guess what happened? Like, I started seeing what the benefits of that were, right? I started building a business that I'd never even realized was possible. But then guess what my goal moved to? I want to help as many people as possible have the freedom that this business has given me. I can't freaking measure that. And I had the biggest aha moment right on this call. Brad said it. What's your end of the year goal? You guys, I kind of stopped setting these big goals because I don't freaking know what to set. I have nothing to freaking measure. Nothing. Because how do you measure that? There are so many millions of people. I have no freaking way to measure that. My life is freaking changed. That's what I'm here for. But I need a measurable goal that fires me up. And that's what I am going to be focused on, is figuring out what is that. And then I will tell you twofold. The other thing is too, and I'm just being real with you. The other thing that I realized is like, okay, I want to get my coaches to be able to earn full-time incomes. I want to help 5 new people, 10 new people a year earn full-time incomes. And then that thing in my head kicks in and is like, but I have no control of that, right? I don't know about you, but lots of us are type A personalities. I can do whatever I want because I have control, right? I can build my business. I can hit Success Club because that is a controllable. I have no freaking control of what these coaches do on our team, right? So how do I measure that? I just keep doing what I freaking do. Help people live healthier, more fulfilling lives. Hit Success Club, recruit coaches, and teach coaches how to do Success Club activities that will help them do the same. Because then guess what? Then I build leaders that are going to be in the same position as me. Everything breaks down to that same thing. Everything. That's where your income grows. That's where you're going to create leaders. That's where you're going to build relationships with your coaches because they are in the trenches with you. Don't ever get out of those 3 phases, or let me add a 4th. Just keep, rinse, and repeat, right? Don't ever get out of those behaviors. Because now I can clearly set a goal of, I want 5 new coaches every single year to build a 6-figure income and create a life of freedom, right? How do I measure that? I'm more freaking intentional and specific in what I'm looking for verbally, video for me on my Facebook. You're either on my train or you're off my train. There's not 1 foot on and 1 foot off. Because you're going to fall off because I'm not slowing down. The more I can talk about that, the more I'm going to motivate and find people that are ready to jump on, not off, right? So use those things to help you because, I mean, this has been 5 years in the making. I've never really set, I mean, I've set diamond goals, 2-star diamond, 5-star diamond, 10-star, right? But what are your goals for the end of the year and what is holding you back from reaching those? And clearly identify. Don't sit here and wait of, oh, I don't know, maybe I need to find my brand or maybe I need, that's BS. Take action. You're going to be a lot further ahead by the end of the year than you are if you just keep sitting back wondering what is holding you back. Right? So for me, I have to figure out what that end of the year goal is because at some point in time, I stopped putting that on paper, right? I have nothing to measure. It has to be measurable. And that was called out at Tony Robbins and Brad just repeated that. And I was like, holy Moses, you have to have something that is measurable because I can't have a goal that's just, I want to help my coaches create a life of freedom. You can't measure that. Your goal has to be measurable with a deadline. Period. End of story. That's when I had the most success in my business. Every single time I set a goal, it had a deadline because guess what? This type A personality was full speed ahead and nothing was holding me back. I had control of my actions and my choices. I don't have control of my coaches. If my coaches aren't doing the work, I'm out there finding more. And that's the mindset you have to have. You can't be worried about what people are or are not doing because you have no control of that. So make sure that you have a goal that is measurable and that you can put a date on and you know what you have to do in order to reach that goal. And that's my mission. Getting off this call is to really identify what that looks like and exactly what that is. So thanks, Brad, because you just totally got me refired up after UPW. Does anybody have questions for Brad? That was awesome.
I just want to say you both said a lot of things that were kind of floating around in my mind too, and summed them up really well. Because you know, sometimes you're trying to like get this thought together, and that was awesome. But I also have to say, you know, I wrote down 2-star diamond on my thing, and while we were talking, my kid just walked up and handed me 2 cut out stars, just kind of randomly, and I just thought, oh, not so kind. Anyway, that's why I had to say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And really, you guys, the event in September, UPW was such an eye-opening experience for each and every one of us in so many different areas of our life that you need to do anything you can to get there. I'm not saying it shouldn't even be an option. You buy your plane ticket and you fly out, and we'll have more of the reservation information, all of those details. But you guys do whatever it takes, because this is like a mini UPW customized for our team only. That's it, our team. It's going to be freaking amazing. It's going to change your life, not just your business. Your business is a direct reflection of every single thing in your life that is going on. And I clearly realized that firsthand with my sister. I use her for example because she's like right here, near and dear to my heart. But when you have your own sibling that knows everything that you're doing, knows where you're at in the company, knows what the company is doing for you, and she would love to have that same success, but something is blocking her, and she's your best friend in the whole world, and she knows exactly how to build a business. She's my assistant. She knows what to do, but she can't get out of her own way to do it, and you can't figure out what is holding her back. And then you watch sitting next to her, you watch her just completely transform right in front of your eyes. That is priceless. That is priceless. Somebody that I have watched struggle with her weight loss, struggle with who she is, struggle with her confidence, to be motivating me. You guys never know how much you have an impact on other people. Whether you're looking to them for motivation, there could be things that you're doing that motivate them. Right? She had no idea that over 4th of July, she was holding me accountable to my nutrition. Like, I mean, it's those things, you guys. Her husband wants to come home from work because he wants to be around her because she's happy. He wasn't coming home till 7 or 8 o'clock at night. That's freaking change, you guys. It's in every part of your life. All of that has an effect and a role in how you build your business. She is a happier, more confident person coming out of UPW. Weight loss or not. In 1 week, lost 6 pounds, mind you. 6 freaking pounds. That girl couldn't even lose 6 pounds in like a month and a half because she was on that struggle train, right? I mean, you talk about jumping on her train. Holy smokes, she is like full speed ahead, mission mode. And incredibly motivating because she knows where she's going. You guys have to have that vision. You have to know where you're heading, or nobody's going to jump on your train. Nobody. You can't be 1 foot in and 1 foot out on your goals. It's all in. And you have to share those goals. Another example is speaking at Summit. That I had no control, that was out of my control, right? I told everybody that I was going to be doing this. This was my goal. This is what I want. I had no idea how to make happen because I didn't even know who I needed to convince to ask me, right? And I just kept messaging Doug Moss, I'm pushing for 15-star because I know that's probably what corporate wants me to do. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm just putting it out there constantly with him. I'm messaging Jeremy Red. I'm like, I don't care. Who do I need to tell? What do I need to do? And when that phone call came, I lost it. And guess what? I would have never probably been asked if I hadn't voiced what my vision was, because nobody would have known. I'm one of how many hundreds of thousands of coaches, right? Nobody would have known that little old Jessie wanted to speak at Summit. Share your freaking vision. Get a vision and share it with everybody, because I think that's something that we all lack. We all have these goals, but we're scared to put them out there of what people think or judged or criticized. You know what? Be the different one. Be the one that stands alone. Be the one that shows people what is possible. And then take action and do the work and be consistent and make it happen. Because when you put it out there, and you believe it and you keep telling yourself, like Brad said, you're going to take actions daily, no matter what, to achieve it. Because that's what you keep telling yourself. So you don't even know whether it's true or not true, because you already believe it's happening. So go back, listen to his recording, take notes, and really figure out what the heck you need to do to get out of your own way and to be full speed ahead. And invite your coaches to the event in September. Make sure that they get there. We're going to get registration details out here in the next week. We'll have an event page just like we do for Super Saturdays. And you could join the event. You'll get lots of feedback, lots of information constantly, lots of motivation, you know, that all the news and the updates for it, but you'll get all the registration information as well. So make sure that you get your coaches there, and make sure that you're sharing with your new recruits about this opportunity as well, because you never know who is going to be motivated by it. Okay. So you guys have an awesome day. If nobody has questions, nada. Thank you so much, Brad. That was absolutely killer call.